Hello and welcome to the Intermediate Maths Numeracy WJEC Summer 2023 paper. This is the final questions of the whole series of this paper so far. I will now go into the calculator paper, so if you've finished this paper, well done. It just means one paper is completely completed. And obviously follow for more after this. So the same thing applies. So if you're doing the questions at home, read through, pause the video, or if you just want to sit and listen, just fly for it. Okay, so the first question we got here is a cumulative frequency question. Few things I've looked at when looking at this question, because I've just pre-clicked on a few things just so I didn't have to try and draw a wobbly line through it, is the first thing is that the cumulative frequency does not go up to the height that it's given you. It goes up to 60, so just be mindful of that. And it does tell you at the top as well, so 60 employees, but it's not going right to the top. And it tells you that it's every 10 seconds, so it's in seconds that you were working with. So it says, use the cumulative frequency to estimate the median time taken for the employees to log on. So whenever you're looking for the median, you're looking for half of your people. So if we had 60, half of 60 is 30. So what we're going to do is just draw a line across from 30 and downwards, and then write our value in. I always recommend drawing your lines on these because it'll just save you so much time. So next one, it says, Diva Designs says that 90% of its employees should be logged on by 9:01. Right, so let's just work out 90% of 60 is 54. Now we've got two options here. We can go from 54 or we can go from 61 minutes. It's whatever you fancy. I'm gone from 54, so I've drawn a line across and straight down, and you can say 54 employees are logged on by 9:58. And that gives me enough reason then to suggest that that one is done. Okay, so just quickly going through, worked out what 90% was. If you're not sure how to do that, just remembering what's 9 times 6, and that'll give you your 54. Next one. So again, pause the video if you need to. Systematic sampling. A few things that we know with systematic sampling. If you haven't looked at it before, please just do a little bit of work on it. It's not something that's huge marks in your exam, but it is worth knowing. I think this is probably one of the biggest questions I've seen on it. Might I just add that B I've moved over to here, so that is the same question, just in case you're thinking, why is there two B's there? I've just realised I didn't cancel off that bit. So systematic sampling, so it's saying basically where in the list should the manager start. The 60th name on the list is not correct. A random chosen name is correct. The first person on the list, the last person on the list, and the name multiple of 60 on the list, no. So just so you've got a background of it, we pick our samples, in this case it's 6. We're going to do 360 divided by the 6, and that's going to give us 60. This means every 60th person is being chosen. Now, to start your list of your 60, you pick a random person. And usually this can be done by a random generator. We normally do it between the numbers 1 to 60. So that will be our first person. And then each one will have a jump of 60. So in this question, you can see that the first person was the 4th person. And now all we're going to do is add 60 each time until we get to the end. So 64, 124, 184, 244, and 304. Because if I added another 60 on, I'd be over my limit. So therefore, I've covered my sample and I've systematically done it. That's it for that one. Okay, we've got a box plot question. This is the last question of your paper if you're doing this paper. So a few different things with box plots is that each section represents 25%. So it's really good to know. You've got your range, which is your largest take away the smallest, and you've got your inner quartile range, which is your upper quartile take away your lower quartile. The greatest time was 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So that's 2:30, and we just draw a line there. There doesn't have to be a set width of your line, like length of it. It just has to be drawn. I don't tend to touch to the bottom just because I like to have my readings nice and easy, but it's personal preference. The range was 2 minutes. We're going to take 2 minutes off this, so we're going to have to go to the 10 seconds. So that's my next line drawn in. So that is my range. So all the rest of my data will go inside of this. The median was 84 seconds. So each square is worth 2, okay? Whereas the last question we seen earlier on, it was worth 1. So just noting that this now is worth 2. There we go. So that's 84. So the upper quartile was 108. So we're going to draw that in. So 4 boxes over because each box again represents 2. And then it says the inner quartile range is 68. So we're going to do 108, take away 68, which gives us 40. And that's our last one. Once you've got your 5 lines, your 3 lines in the middle create a box. There's people tend to say like a box and whisker to help them remember. Some other people say it looks a bit like a Star Wars spaceship type of thing. So it's whatever you ever fancy. But it will look like this. So the 2 lines of the outer, they join together to make that box and your whiskers in a sense. So question B, David was set a target to complete half of his phone calls in 1 minute and 30 seconds. So half was at the median point. So we had 84 and he had to be 1 minute 30. So that's 90 seconds. So take away that is going to be 6 seconds there. And on Monday, how many of David's phone calls lasted less than 108? We know 108 is our upper quartile. And as I remember saying, so this section is worth 25%. This section is worth 25%. And this section is worth 20. Oh, that was a long line then. Just rub that last line out. This section is worth 25%. So we've got 75% is up to that 108. So I need 75% of my 200. So we know that 25% is 50. So then times that by 3, so 150 phone calls, and that's that done. And you've now completed the paper. So if you've managed to find things on here that you found easier, some things you found harder, there was a couple difficult questions, I'd say, in the middle of the paper that were quite worded, but there was nothing too challenging on this paper. I do feel like everyone could have had a go, and especially this last question, I think it actually isn't that bad. So I hope this helped. And again, make sure you follow the other videos. I'm going to be putting up loads of different maths intermediate videos to help you on your way to get you ready for your exams and hopefully be ready for November for the ones who are doing it in November. Right, thank you. Bye-bye.